A div, most commonly used tag in web development. Div is like a box in a website where you can put content. Think of it as a container that can hold text, images, or other boxes. It helps organize and style your web page. Let me show you this through some examples. In front of me, I have made some small structure that consists of one image tag, some text tags, and one button, which is also a div, but with a link. Let me put one div in this project really quickly. As you can see, nothing happened. That's because div is by the default transparent and doesn't have any properties. Because of that, he won't have any impact on my project when I freshly add him. For the first example, what if you want to add, let's say, max width to all of these tags, but you don't want to go from tag to tag and set the same property over and over? You can do that easily. You can just put all of your tags inside of a div. Let me do that really quickly. And as I've done this, I can just select this div that wraps everything and set max width to it. As you can see, all of the content inside of my div has changed. That's because the content inside of a div will follow the resizing and the other options of my div, like centering this div. You can notice that all of the content is centered. Let's go to another example. As you can notice, my text here is black. What if I want to change it, but I don't want to go from tag to tag and change the color property separately? I can do that easily. I can just select my parent div and set the color property. And you will notice that all of the text tags inside of this div has gotten the property of color red. Not all of the CSS properties that we set on our div will have direct impact on its child. For this example, let's set background color to this div. Let's go with some light gray, and you can notice that only my div has gotten the background color. This means that this div is still the separate element, but he is grouping all the tags that I have nested inside of it. Now, as you can notice, all of this content is sticked to the edges. And how can I fix this? Well, I can either go from tag to tag and set padding to it or margin, depend on what you like more, or I can go with easy solution. And that's right, I can use a div. So let's add one div here. After I've added new div, I'll pack all of my tags inside of my new div. And now, when I've done this, I'll select this new div, go to the spacing options, and let's set some padding to it to see what will happen. You will notice, while I'm changing the padding property on this div, all of my tags has gotten pushed a bit from the edges. All of them are pushed, but I only set padding property on one tag. In this example, I've shown you how div works when you want to use it to group some tags, or in other words, when you want to nest other tags in a div. But that's not all a div can do. Now I'll show you some interesting things that can be done with a div. For this example, I'll make one separator by using a div. First of all, let's select our parent div and add one div inside of it. Now, let's precisely put this div under this heading. Then I'll select my div and let's go to the size options. Let's put width of 100 pixels for this example, and let's go with a height of 2 pixels. Now you cannot notice anything different because the div is transparent. Let's add him some background color. Let's go with this gray. And when I select something else, you will notice our small separator. But I don't like this separator being so close to my heading and to my paragraph. So let's change this really quickly. I'll select my div, go to the spacing options, and let's put top margin. Let's go with 15 pixels. And let's put bottom margin as well, 15 pixels. Now we have a bit of a breathing room here. You can also make some other shapes with a div. For this example, let's add another div but outside of this one. Let's set some properties like top margin just to have more space between them, and let's go with a width of 50 pixels and with a height of 50 pixels. Because our div is transparent, let's add some background color like this dark red. Let's center our div and let's make a circle out of it. How can you do this? You can just go to the borders panel and set radius property to be 50%. You can notice now that our square div is transformed to be a circle. So, to summarize things up, you can use divs to group content and in one place to set some properties to a multiple of tags, or you can use divs to make some shapes like dividers, circles, and many more. This will be everything for this video. I'll see you in the next one.